FedEx employees, and welcome. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Sam, and I moderate these weekly webinars. In just a minute, we're going to be joined by Michael Corgiat, who is one of our senior advisors here, and he is going to be offering his insights to FedEx employees about how to navigate layoffs and severance packages. But before he comes on, I'd like to very quickly remind you that we are not affiliated nor endorsed by FedEx. The Retirement Group is a completely independent group of financial advisors, so please keep that in mind as you're listening along today. After his presentation, I will rejoin Michael very quickly to ask him some of the questions that come through the Q&A box throughout his presentation. Please feel free to stick around if you're interested in listening to those answers. And if you happen to see YouTube cards popping up on your screen, feel free to give those a quick click. They're going to guide you to several different resources that we have to offer, one of which may simply be a link to book an appointment to speak with either Michael Corgiat himself or one of his colleagues if you wish, once this video has ended, so take advantage of those. And without further ado, here is Michael Corgiat.
Hi, Sam, and hi, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation. You know, this subject is not a pleasant one to consider, but unfortunately, in the corporate world that we all live in today, for many of you, this can wind up being a necessary evil. So today we're going to talk about what we believe to be some of the most important considerations when considering a severance package, your health care, making sure that your finances are in order, and so on. So let's go ahead and dive right into our presentation. First, we want to make sure that you understand your rights and your options. A simple overview of severance packages, unemployment benefits, and what's probably very important to all of you is healthcare coverage. Is it a part of your severance package or not? Very, very important. Obviously, the key considerations, there are pros and cons to a severance package. Obviously, the bad thing is you're losing your job. The good thing is that the company is willing to give you a severance payment. Could be 3, 6, 9, 12 months. You know, it all depends on the company that you work for, but at least it is something. And you do have to sign a severance agreement. In many cases, you are foregoing a lot of your legal rights if you do sign off on the severance. Any recourse that you might have towards your former employer if you feel like you've been wrongly terminated. The pros are, again, severance pay, good chance that your company is going to continue to cover your health care during that severance period at the premium that you've been paying while you were employed. We'll talk more about other options after that time frame. Again, the cons, you do lose you're losing your job, but you do lose your recourse options. So you do have to weigh the two of those things. One of the cons that I just mentioned, if you really believe that you may be wronged for whatever reason, you may want to consult with an attorney. It's good to know an attorney for a lot of reasons, and many times the severance offer is you're only given a very short period of time, typically. In many cases, 1 or 2 weeks to make the decision as to whether to take it or not. So you may want to consult with an attorney about your legal rights. And then how and when do you apply for unemployment benefits? In most states, in most cases, you are eligible for unemployment benefits, even with a severance package. I have done this in, I can't tell you how many states. I've learned about unemployment benefits in states all over the country, all right? Many states, it's all different. What the weekly benefit is, how long those weekly benefits options, you can collect them. But the key is to know where to go, your unemployment agency there locally in your town, and you should apply quickly. I would strongly suggest that you get that process started within a week of your actual severance from your company. Those benefits typically take upwards of a month to begin to start. So you're going to have a gap there. You know, it'll probably take a month for your severance payment to get paid out too. So again, there's a gap. Make sure you've got some liquidity, some emergency funds to get you by until those checks do start, until you do get that severance payment. Navigating your insurance options, okay, post-layoff. Well, as I mentioned, there's a good chance your employer will provide you with your health care at your employed rates for up to whatever period your severance is. Let's say 6 months. If not, you do have COBRA options. And COBRA is definitely an option for up to 18 months. You do have to pay 100% of the total group cost for yourself and your family at the employer level. Simply, husband, wife, couple of children, there's a good chance that monthly cost could be $1,500 to $2,500 a month. Very expensive, okay? But it is an option, and healthcare is important to all of us. We'll talk a little bit more about healthcare here in a minute. Being prepared financially. Are you prepared? Preparing for a job search, securing all of your professional and financial assets. We'll talk about your pension and your 401k, retirement and equity considerations, and then financial planning and analysis. Preparing for the job search. LinkedIn is one of the best networking tools out there for people to find out what's going on and what opportunities are out there. If you're not on LinkedIn now, before you potentially lose your job, you should get out there. You should be on it, and you should begin to network. I have probably close to 5,000 followers on LinkedIn, and I can't tell you, probably 5,000 or 10,000, I call them friends, networking colleagues on LinkedIn. It is an awesome tool to find opportunities out there. It's not what you know, it's who you know in many cases. And having your resume on your LinkedIn profile, as well as considering some of the other alternatives. I'm going to mention Indeed, which is one of those resume services where people can go out who are looking to hire individuals. They could go out and do searches themselves based on your resume and what's in your resume. It may trigger for them, and they'll see it. And you may get a phone call or an email. Hey, we'd like to talk to you about a new job opportunity. There are a lot of other job search options out there. Your unemployment office is a great source as well. And your employer may offer you a job training package, as well as resume writing and assistance to help you during the severance period, to help you get your situation, your resume, your interviewing skills all in order. So when you do start the job search, you are prepared for it. So very, very important. As far as securing your professional and financial assets, many of us have a lot of our own personal information on our work computer. And you're going to want to make sure you secure all that data, whether it's a hard drive or a thumb drive, before you have to turn that computer back in. And as far as your finances, you want to make sure you got your financial and your healthcare accounts in order. You could be without work for some time. It may go beyond the severance period. I'm not saying it's going to be easy to find a job. In many cases, it's not. I do know they're out there. They keep telling us that there are more jobs out there than there are people to take them. And I do know all those jobs aren't just at Walmart and Amazon. I like saying that, but I know there's a lot of jobs out there. It's just a matter of whether you have the skills and the skill set to fill the job opportunities that are out there. What do you do with your 401k and your pension? Well, if you are pension eligible with your company, you may want to consider your pension options, and we'd love the opportunity to talk to you about that. If you're not pension eligible, well, then that isn't a concern. But for most of us, we do have 401k balances. What do you do with your 401k? Should I leave it? Should I take it? You know, there are a lot more opportunities and investment options available to you if you take your 401k and roll it over into an IRA. But if you're over 55 years of age, you're probably better off to consider leaving your 401k there, because there are post-55 options for withdrawals that allow you to take money out of your 401k prior to 59 and a half and not have to pay the penalties. As far as stock options and equity options are concerned, excuse me, those are considerations. They're very different for each employer. We certainly could talk to you about what your options are if you do have some. Financial planning. I like to talk about planning. Obviously planning for your future is extremely important, and you shouldn't wait until you're potentially laid off. Let us put together a cash flow analysis for you to let you know where you stand currently and where your plan is going towards retirement. Understanding your financial runway, and then making sure you have a safety net, an emergency fund, access to funds to cover your monthly bills for at least 6 months. You don't want to have to liquidate investments in a down market. It's okay to do it in an up market, but not a down market. So make sure you've got liquidity in a high yield money market fund or savings account that you can access very easily. And then moving forward with your job search, I talked about healthcare options. We'll talk a little bit more about that, leveraging technology, and a recap. Again, understand your COBRA benefits and other health insurance options. One I want to mention that I haven't yet is healthcare.gov. The Affordable Care Act created the network, and this is an option for everyone. And in many cases, depending on what your income is, number one, you have had what's called a qualifying event. You've lost your job. So you can get healthcare on healthcare.gov. And in many cases, based on your finances, you might get a government subsidy. So it may wind up being a lot cheaper to go that route versus your COBRA benefits. Definitely sign up for it. You can log in and look at options based on your own situation. And I strongly recommend that for retirees as well. And then planning for those potential coverage gaps. Hopefully you won't have any of those. You got continuation, you might have COBRA, you go to healthcare.gov, you won't lose that coverage, but you don't want to have gaps in coverage, especially if you've got health considerations and concerns, especially if you're taking prescription drugs. Finally, leveraging technology, utilizing job boards, alerts, and AI tools. There's tons of them out there on the internet. I talk about Facebook as well as being an option besides LinkedIn. And there's an awful lot of free resources, again, through the unemployment offices in your state, through whatever your employer may provide you as well, and keeping track of who's looking at you. Definitely look into these tools, and a great place to start is Google. So just to recap, some of the key points from today's conversation. Again, it's not a pleasant subject, but it is a reality. Make sure you understand your severance and your legal recourse options. Make sure you've got your health care in order. Make sure you've got yourself an emergency fund set up. Get your unemployment started as soon as possible, at least get it filed for. Again, make sure you've got some funds to take care of yourself for the first 30 days and, have a plan to move forward, because this could happen. And many of you work for companies where you have friends that are surplused or laid off on a regular basis, and God knows you might be next. So with all that said, make sure you have a plan. We've talked a lot about planning. The more important planning, is for retirement, your future. But, again, having a plan is extremely important, and we'd be happy to put one of these together. Why would you want to consider our firm here at the Retirement Group? Well, we're a team of advisors with an awful lot of experience. We've got offices nationwide. We have a keen knowledge of the benefit programs for a lot of the companies, the employees that work for those companies. We understand your pension, your 401k, and your healthcare programs, and we are more than happy to provide you with a complimentary financial analysis. All you have to do is ask. You can schedule a meeting by scanning this QR code here on the left, and definitely scan the one on the right. This will take you to our LinkedIn page. We have tons of resources there, as well as on our website, theretirementgroup.com. You can give us a call or send us an email. A lot of different options out there. I do really appreciate everyone's attention, and I'm going to go ahead and hand the meeting back off to Sam just to see what we've got as far as questions.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, we got a couple questions we want to make sure you have the opportunity to answer today. This
Sure.
first one, if I accept a severance package during a layoff, can I get unemployment benefits?
The answer is More than likely, yes. I can't tell you. I live in Missouri, and I've seen this happen many times in Missouri. And yes, you can get unemployment benefits. I've worked with people all over the country, and in many of those states, yes, you can get unemployment benefits. I don't know specifically because there's 50 states in the nation, but I would definitely, even before this happens, reach out to your unemployment office just to find out what your options are to answer your question.
Thank you. Okay, next one. What happens to my 401k after being laid off? Do I take it or roll it over?
Great question. We talked a little bit about that. It depends. It can be a source of funds, especially without penalty, if you're over 55. If you're under 55, there's no reason to leave it there. Roll it over into an IRA. Let us help you invest it. We certainly have a lot more opportunities as far as investment choices are concerned, and it's out of the plan. You're no longer going to get a matching contribution. As far as the same goes with your pension. Hey, if you're pension eligible, you might as well consider starting your pension, even if you do want to go out and find another job. I strongly recommend, again, you might as well take it unless you're 55 years of age or older. Post 55 options for withdrawals are there, so you avoid the penalty, unlike an IRA, which is 59 and a half.
All righty, thanks, Michael. And we're going to just do one more to keep this
Okay.
short. What are my healthcare options after being laid off? Is Medicare or Cobra better if I am 60 years old?
Okay, another great question. Medicare eligibility is at age 65. So if you're age 60, you're not eligible for Medicare unless you happen to go on Social Security disability, and then you would be. Okay, so your health care from your employer with Cobra, possibly it's subsidized, then you could switch to Cobra. I did mention healthcare.gov, tremendous option there as well. If your spouse works, maybe you could join their plan. In many cases, that's an option. If your spouse works for another big company that provides healthcare. So you do have several options to consider. Medicare for that person isn't an option, but you do have plenty to take a look at. And I do strongly recommend healthcare.gov as an option because it can be very inexpensive.
All righty, Michael, thank you. As a reminder, after this webinar has ended, you're going to be redirected to the Retirement Group's homepage where you can book your appointment to speak directly with Michael about your specific situation. Michael, is there anything else you wanted to say before we go today?
No, again, I thank everyone for joining Sam and I today. We hope you got some good information out of today's presentation. Give us a call, send us an email. We'd look forward to helping you out. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day.